Hello everybody, welcome to the next episode of Late Friday Night Banter Blitz with Mostrovski, which means with me. So I have a good mood, but I'm a bit tired, so you have great chances to beat me. Let's have a look how it works. So let's get to our challengers and let's start the show. Well, a lot of challenges already. So I usually play 5 minutes. Let's start with night fight. Accept. And I play with white. Okay. So today I will try knight f3. More solid approach than e4. So quite a flexible one because I have a chance to transpose to many different opening lines. Okay, c5. So what to do here? Okay, there are a lot of different ways, of course, but I will play this move. A bit strange one, not very ambitious, but still playable, I guess. I just prepare something like d4. Occupation of the center. I'm not against positions with isolated pawns, so cd4, ed4, d5 will be not that bad for me, I guess. So let's try it. And by the way, it could be a transposition to Caro-Kann now. So after cd4, ed4, d5, knight c3, we will have a tabia of Caro-Kann's Panov attack. That's interesting. And this just shows the flexibility of the first knight f3 move. Just let me know if everything is fine with the broadcast, I mean the sound, the picture, and so on. Yeah, we have 4 knights now. Caro-Kann's 4 knights. Interesting transposition. And g6, okay. So the main move is bishop to g4. The second choice is e6. g6 is probably also playable. So let's check this possibility. So usually white tries to come up with the active play in the center. So I take on d5 to develop my bishop with a tempo. Okay, Junior chat team says, hello, it's okay, everything. Okay, that's great. So now, knight is hanging, black has a choice to take on c3 or maybe to go away with the knight. Capture on c3 will help me to just support my pawn d4. Okay, knight on f6. What about just attacking the f7 somehow? Knight g5, e6 then. Okay, d5 makes sense also. Just to attack the knight. The knight will probably go to a5, I guess. Well, this looks promising. Let's have a look. Just attack. Grabbing the space. Knight a5, now check with the bishop. After bishop d7, I guess I can't trap the knight with the help of b4, because in this case black just takes on b5, and then what? And then if knight takes, knight has a square on c4, so maybe it's better for me to do something like queen to e2 or even queen to a4. Which move is better? Queen to e2 controls c4, so I have a direct threat of b4. Queen to a4 creates a threat of taking on d7, which forces knight takes d7, but maybe it's not a big threat. Okay, I think queen to e2 is more flexible. So I'll play queen to e2. Protecting the bishop, so I'm ready to capture on b5 with the queen. If bishop takes, if not, then b4 is a threat. immediately or after taking on d7 also. But of course, if black plays bishop to g7, capturing d7 makes no sense. Okay, b6. So knight will go to b7. So I can't trap the knight, but probably it's not a big problem. So what else? What about just knight e5? Looks very natural and very active. Just exerting more and more pressure on black's position. Okay. So now, after knight d7, I will have already a pair of bishops, but maybe I have something better, like bishop g5, attacking that bishop, because there will be a threat of taking on f6, then taking on d7. Yeah, let's make this move. Looks interesting. So what black will do? Oh, knight c6 was also a great resource. I've just missed that. So knight c6, bishop c6 takes c6, and then goes to I don't know, actually, maybe castling also. So now if I take on f6, black takes on b5. But I can take on d7 with the knight and then take on e7 with the bishop. Looks like winning the material, right? So let's do it. And bishop takes e7. Yeah, looks just fine. Now it looks like a material gaining because I can't see really a possibility for black to avoid losing material. Yeah, maybe only this move. So now bishop c3 is a threat. So if I take on f8, he takes on c3. I take with the pawn, let's say. And then what? And then queen takes c3, of course. Taking the rook with the check. That's bad for me. But what about bishop f8? Bishop c3 and king f1. Knight takes f8, yeah. And rook to c1. Yeah, some sort of interesting play, of course. But I guess simple castling should be also fine. Yeah. I have d6 then. Should be just a great position for me. Yeah. So queen d6 makes no sense. My queen on e2 is protected twice with the bishop and with the knight. Okay, queen is forced to a bad position. Now what? A lot of different possibilities actually. But I will stick to rook to c1. Now again, b4 might be a threat at any moment. Bishop f6. Okay, what about b4? Looks very promising. Takes here, okay. What to do now? a6. Okay, I can take on d7. Yeah, extra minor piece and easily winning position. The only concern is the time, so I have to be quick now. Knight e5. Winning even more material, so now extra rook. I guess it's time to resign. But okay, my opponent wants to play a bit. Maybe it makes sense because I have time trouble. It's not really a trouble, of course, but yeah, let's make this move. Check. Takes here. Yeah. Okay, So I guess that's actually g6 is kind of dubious move in this concrete situation. So it's better to stick to the main line with bishop g4, or another main line with the e6. Just a normal position, like in the Queen's Gambit, but there is a situation in which this more likely an isolated pawn will appear very soon. So black has normal counterplay usually. So nothing wrong with that. g6 just allows me a lot. I guess after g6 I already have at least an initiative. So it's better to avoid this line. Okay, so somebody asks, probably me, I don't know, do you have a wife? Strange question. Strange question. Of course I do. So let's play. Shadowmate. Accept. And black pieces. Shadowmate, it's time. Okay, d4, knight f6. Knight f3, e6. I stick to classic lines today. Okay, bishop f4. Let's just play d5. And c5. And knight c6, so just a healthy central strategy. And bishop to d6. Okay, bishop goes to g3. And now what? b6 is possible. a6 is possible. There are a lot of different possibilities for black actually. So I don't know which one will be the best. b6, what will happen if white plays bishop b5? Might be a bit dangerous. Okay, I'll play a6. Also a flexible move because at some point I can play even b5, grabbing the space on the queen side. So let's try. Okay. Preparing e5. So if white castles, for example, I can simply take on g3, I think. And then to continue with the e5, or just castling, also looks fine. So I don't want to take on g3 too early. In that case, h takes g3 and white will have initiative along the h file. And now white has a choice. I believe that queen e7 is not the main line, definitely. And a6 was already not the main line. But okay. Let's just play and see how it works. And now castles. White should be slightly better because of a better bishop, at least. As for the center, I think we both have normal control. And after d5, well, I can take this pawn, I think, with the queen. And e4, well, kind of typical play. Okay, so now white's threat is to play e5 to grab some space, and then we'll have kind of French pawn structure, which is not that great for black, of course. So I will take on e4. Simplifying the position a bit. And now, to prevent everything dangerous connected with h7 square, I will play h6. So sometimes this sort of pawn structures, but with the pawn on h2, not on g3, arises in Sicilian, sometimes. Of course, black's pawn is on e5 also, not on e6. So white has 3 pawns against 2 pawns on the queen side, pawn majority, which means that almost any endgame is quite good for white. But probably black can stick to the strategy when he can keep queens on the board. Okay. So now I have to make a decision how to activate my bishop. It's not that easy. I think b6 should be okay. Knight e5, also logical move. Okay, queen to c7. Knight on e5 is very good. Yeah, probably white is better here, I should say. So now if my bishop goes to b7, rook d7 might be annoying. Yeah. Let's try a5. Trying to occupy a6 instead. With the 10 pawn, then I'll have a chance to play rook to d8, preventing rook d7. Not the best, of course, pawn structure for black, because I already made the concession, so b6 might be potentially weak. But what to do? I have to complete the development. Queen to e3, well, and now rook to d8 is needed. Rook to d1, well, also predicted. Not cool. Okay, how to simplify this position? I definitely have a worse one, I think. The knight is very strong. The knight is very strong. Okay. I just protect my d7 square to prevent rook d7 and just want to see what my opponent will do. I have to prepare something like f6 at some point just to get rid of this strong knight on e5. Then maybe e5, but I have to do this at a proper moment because this definitely leads to some weakening of the position. Uh-huh. What is that? What about just f6 now? I hope it's not a blunder. So then I will just take on f4 or even play e5. Yeah, interesting. Rook takes d8. Okay, rook takes d8. Rook is hanging on d1 with check, so probably rook takes d8 is now forced. Yeah. Okay. Where to put my queen? Don't have a time. No time to think. So let's just make solid moves. Another portion of simplification. Yeah, simply no time at all. Yeah, that was a bad move. Ah, God. Yeah, I was simply outplayed in this game. Fantastic. And one on time, yeah, lucky me, because, well, I was completely outplayed. Definitely this opening choice with the a6 and then queen e7 is not good. So black has to do something else. For example, b6, bishop b7. Okay, I have to check the theory, this opening line. So I wasn't satisfied with my position in the opening and then in the middle game, of course, and also I played too slow. Spent a lot of time, so in the endgame stage I simply had no time to think properly and made a lot of blunders, made a lot of mistakes. So congratulations, Shadowmate, that was a very solid and decent game. Okay, so let us continue. Challenges. Amando. Yeah, Amanda, why not? Accept. Black pieces again. c4, e5. a3. Okay. Let's try this approach. Preventing bishop g5, so this makes white's fight for d5 square less efficient, I think. And now I have a healthy pawn center. Knight to h3, not very logical since I control g5 and f4. Let us continue just grabbing the space. Why not? Well, I'm completely satisfied with my position now. I think black is already not worse, at least. Maybe even a bit better already, because knight on h3 is a target. White has to make a decision on knight c3, what to do with that. Knight to b1, okay, and bishop to e6. Just completing, well, white continuing the development. Almost completing the development, yeah. Because I need only to develop my dark square bishop somewhere and castle. And the process will be done. And preparing just queen d7, for instance, bishop d5, there are a lot of interesting possibilities after that. Oh, f4, yeah. Quite a risky move, no? Weakens a lot. But can I exploit it immediately? So if queen d7, pawn takes e5, definitely to play knight f4 down. I can take, of course, an h3 in that line. So what else? Bishop to d5 looks interesting. Exchanging the main defender of the king side, making it completely vulnerable. but that is still not that great for me. So just bishop d5, let's see, knight takes d5, then what? Castles. Well, looks fine, but my bishop is still not developed, so I'm a bit late with my castle insured. I don't want a castle alone here. What about e4? D takes e4? And knight takes e4. Not that clear. Maybe just bishop to d6. Continue the development. Yeah, I will try that. But yeah, now I see that it is not the best choice. F takes e5 was very good, I guess. Yeah. Okay, let's cancel. So white managed to avoid the worst. Still, there are a lot of weaknesses in white's position, but okay. It's probably not that dangerous. I think f takes e5 is just a must here. f5 is also an interesting try. Then bishop d5, knight d5, and for instance knight to f2, trying to blockade e5 from e4. Yeah, this plan also deserves serious attention. So should I play bishop d5 or not? Or is it better just to retreat to d7 and then to try to target this f5 pawn, which is a bit vulnerable? I think, yeah, it will be better, because if bishop d5, knight e5, knight just goes to f2 and then to e4, and white occupies a perfect position with the knight. So, yeah, I will play this instead. Knight to d2. Okay, so let's attack this pawn. Yeah, but knight to e4. Oh god, something is wrong with me today, you know? Everybody outplays me. What the hell? Maybe I'm a bit lazy, right? So instead of playing something concrete, after f4 I played just bishop to d6. Yeah, that was wrong. Okay, knight c4 is not the best move. Knight e4 was much better in my opinion. So now I have some chances. So where to put my bishop now? c7 or e7? c7 should be safer place. Just still supporting e5 pawn, just in case. Maybe d4 was too early, I don't know. Maybe it was just better to play first bishop e6 and then to c. Yeah. But at least I have an advantage in time. On the clock. That makes the things not that depressing. Okay, e4 I have to take. Probably knight takes e3, protecting f5. Okay. I have a good possibility to improve the position of my bishop. So bishop goes to b6. And now my target is a d4 square. And I guess it will be just good to occupy it with the knight. Yeah. Looks cool now. Now bishop to c6 and then rook to d8. I'll have very easy play, I guess. In addition to the advantage in time, so I guess I will win this game on time. But of course, already black is fine. I can grab the pawn, attacking the knight on h3. Yeah, that was a blunder. Okay, good game, Amando. Well, I mean, the opening was a disaster, but then I played this stupid bishop d6 move, which wasn't that great. Maybe even d4 was too early, so instead of d4, I think bishop e6 deserves serious attention. Just preparing this queen to d7 move, and well, black's position is very promising here. But then here I made a mistake. So bishop d6 was just too slow and not that ambitious. Instead, I think bishop d5 or queen d7 should be played. And then I made a mistake again when played this series of moves and queen c8. You had a great chance to play knight e4. That was just good. And the point here that you managed to exchange knight f6, after which you have no problems with protecting your f5 pawn with the help of g4. My bishop is hanging. If I take on e4, your bishop occupies a perfect position, blockading one. And again, you have very simple plan of playing g4, g5 with the attack. So it looks just fine. f6 is already a threat, by the way. Also, if I play, let's say, bishop to e7, well, you can take my knight on f6 and then just do the same to put the bishop on e4. Very good blockading position. I think white is better. Yeah, so that was a chance. Okay, next challenge, Duke Crusher, accept. Again, playing with black. c4. Well, let's continue. e5. Knight c3 and bishop b4. Kinda tabia for my Banter Blitz shows. And knight e5. One of the best moves here, of course. Back to c3. Why? And just losing a tempo because I didn't play bishop back to f8. I played it to e7, so looks like I won the time after this. Okay, let us continue development. Yeah, so knight c3 is definitely bad. It's not a kind of decisive mistake, of course, because, well, white is still white and has some advantage in time, but, well, losing the tempo this way, I don't think it was logical. Okay, g3, I can also play c6 here. I can play even d5 now, knight c6, a lot of different possibilities. I will try c6. Let's have a look on this possibility. So again, I want to just build up a strong center with my pawns. e3. Wow. That is just too slow, I think. Yeah, with pleasure. So kind of French defense reversed. Not a better result for black, actually. Bishop b5. I think I'm not against the exchange of these bishops, but in many cases this bishop is very important for black. I mean, in French defense there are a lot of lines when this bishop plays a decisive role in the attack. Yeah, but at the same time, after exchange of light squared bishops, light squares are quite weak in white's camp. So maybe that is also a result for me. So f3. I don't want to help my opponent to develop his pieces, so I'll just continue my development. To take with the pawn or to take with the knight? I don't know which is better. When I take with the knight, well, I will have no problems with protecting my e4 pawn after f7, f5 at any moment. But after taking with the pawn, I have this knight, and maybe it will be useful in the attack on the king's side. Not sure which decision will be better. Okay, I'll take with the knight. Looks safer. Yeah. And now what? So knight b4 looks just natural. To occupy d3 square, right? But maybe I can prevent castling with queen h3, but then yeah, knight f4, and my plan fails. There was also an interesting idea just to play h5, h4, trying to challenge this g3 pawn. Also looks promising. Very hard to make a decision in such a situation. A lot of different promising lines. Okay, I think knight b4 can't be bad decision. So knight d3 is a threat. D5 position is also quite interesting for the knight. I have also a threat of rook c8, trying to control c2 and so on. Yeah, after knight to 4, I think I can play just g5. I thought that castling was necessary. I can play just g5, yeah. Attacking the knight, and if knight goes away, then knight d3 check. If a3, then just g takes f4, a takes b4, and at least I'm a pawn up after bishop takes b4 check. But what is more important, I guess, I can play just f3, having this monster pawn on f3. Yeah, that is a great exchange for me. So to take on b4 or not? I don't really know. I mean, is this pawn is so important? I guess not really. So I can take it at any moment. So f3 is more important, just to have this pawn. Bishop d2. The bishop is very bad now, by the way. So how about h5? Queen to a4. Oh, a natural decision, of course, a natural desire to simplify the position, but I think I can avoid this simplification. Can I just play b5 here? Yeah, let's play b5. fixing the pawn on b4. Okay. And now let's say h4. A kind of natural attack. My king on the e8 is not that bad. King f2. Okay, time to activate my rook. Somebody says, the time, Andre, yeah. The time is money, and I have only 40 seconds. So I have to be faster. Oops, takes on h2, very important. Let's say check. What is that? Either a checkmate or what? Well, let's start with this. And now with this. There should be a checkmate, I guess. Yep, rook e2, followed by queen f1, should be winning. Checkmate. Okay, so knight c3 was really bad, actually. So after knight went to d5 and bishop came back to e7, of course the natural way for white to continue is just to play something like d4, just fighting for the center, and being ready just to capture this bishop at any moment with the knight, and having pair of bishops already. So white is usually slightly better here from the very start, because this line with the bishop e4 is quite dubious, to be honest. It's playable still, but well, black takes the risks, and white has to be active, right? So knight c3 is definitely a mistake. Because you just retreat the knight, you lose a tempo, you give black a lot of different possibilities now. It can't be good, can't be justified. Okay, so let's go further. Challengers. Whom to play? Let's play to butterfly, accept. Again with black pieces. What a shame, huh? Knight to c3, okay. d5. So Verisov. No. e4. Okay, I'll take it. So kind of gambit. I'm not that against, right? So as far as I remember, a good idea is to put the bishop here, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, fine. So now white wants to do what? To play queen h4, then knight g5, or bishop h6 first, then knight g5, this sort of attack. So what should I do? I have to come up with a counterplay. In the center, probably. It is also a good idea for me to simplify position somehow. What can I do for this purpose? Maybe bishop g4 deserves attention. Currently d4 is not protected, so it might be an interesting move, so let's do it. Okay, queen to h4. If bishop takes f3, then queen controls d4 and rook takes f3, so white has everything protected. So maybe knight c6, just continue the development. Yeah, should be okay. Knight g5 is coming. I have to be careful now. Okay, knight b4 followed by knight d5 is an interesting maneuver. But I think I should start with this move, just to avoid everything like knight g5, knight d5 and so on. And now knight b4. Attacking c2 and trying to occupy d5 with further simplification. Because after all I have an extra pawn. So in general exchanges are good for me. And also exchanges help me to reduce opponent's attacking potential. So what about knight e5 now? Takes queen e7. Yeah, might be a bit annoying. So let's cover this square with the pawn as well, to have a chance to take with the pawn. Rook to d1. Okay, now I think knight d5 should be sensible. Not a bad place for the knight after all. Bishop to h6. Okay, also sensible move. So how to counter-attack? Let's say a5 with the idea of a4 at some point. Might be interesting. Queen d7 is also a very solid move. Intending kind of queen g4 maybe. Yeah, we'll start with queen d7 probably, to have this possibility of queen g4 if necessary. If the things will go wrong, right, and position will be dangerous, I will have queen g4. If my opponent plays h3, this means rook h3 is no longer possible, so I'm fine. Maybe it was too early to exchange dark squared bishops, because now I have additional defensive resource like h5 or something. Okay, now I'm satisfied with my position. I have an extra pawn and looks like white doesn't have serious attacking resources. At least it looks like that. So what about h5 now? And the pawn structure gives me a chance to come up with a minority attack. So why not to try it? Rook to e1. What is the threat? To take on e7? No. To take on f6? No. So I can afford further improvement of my position, I think. And now what? What about b4? Yeah, b4 looks good. And again, the only concern is my time. So I have 50 seconds, only 50 seconds on my clock. So I have to be extremely careful and fast. So my opponent also spends the time, so this gives me a chance. Let's try to simplify position. No, probably my opponent doesn't want me to simplify position, so maybe the queen will come back. Oh, queen f4, just a blunder. Lucky me, again. Position was of course good, but well, after this queen f4, it is just winning. Probably, yeah, it was necessary just to come back to g5. I would probably come back to d7. And here, by the way, it is an interesting idea just to play rook g3, creating a threat of bishop takes g6, by the way. Not so easy for black to prevent this sacrifice on g6. Maybe it's necessary to play something like rook g8, an ugly looking move, but after this move, I guess this sacrifice doesn't work, because I have king f8 and looks like I have everything pretty cool protected. So queen h6, then king f7, and again my knight just protects everything. All the squares and pawns are okay, right? So at least it forces me to play something like rook g8, ugly move, and well, maybe here white has some counter chances still. But in fact, to be honest, black's position is already fine. So I've managed to prevent the worst on the king side, right? And well, when white has no attack there, black simply has an extra pawn. Okay, so let's go further. Butterfly, thanks for the game. And now what? Now blitz enemy. Let's play that. And white pieces. Okay, good. Very nice. And Sicilian, right? Very good. E6, okay. Let's try this Sveshnikov variation. Main line and c4. Castles. So here there are several interesting ideas for white, including h4, yeah, g3 simply. Yeah, I guess g3 would be nice. Just continue the development. Okay. This move helps me to limit the bishop on f6. And at the same time, I want to play bishop to h3, just trying to exchange my light squared bishop. Because my light squared bishop is limited by pawn pawns. Not very good piece, honestly. Bishop to e7. Okay, so maybe Black wants to play f5. I don't really know. So bishop h3 takes with the rook, f5 takes with the rook, for example. Yeah, looks sensible, but this we can slide squares a lot. At the same time, I have some problems with castling, so maybe not that great for me. Okay. I will develop my bishop to g2 first. Then I will make castling. Now it's possible to combine the play on both flanks somehow. For instance, b3, then a3. Yeah, should be fine. So first I fix pawn on b4, then I want to play a3 to take on b4, and that will be a weakness. Typical idea. At the same time, I just support my c4 pawn, which makes my center quite good. Okay, f5, black has a chance to play f4, so I definitely have to take. Now, if knight takes e7, then knight takes e7, and black is fine in the sense of material. But, okay, maybe I have something better, something like knight from d5 to e3, attacking this knight on c6. And attacking light squared bishop, because light squared bishop is very important here. Yeah, let's try it. Interesting. Because if bishop takes c2, I will be happy, I think. If bishop goes to d7, I'm also not that upset. Because bishop is a bit passive now. So now what? e4 square looks very good to occupy with the bishop. It's possible to put the queen on d3 to control light squares better. Then bishop to e4, or maybe to start with the bishop e4. Also looks sensible. Yeah, let's try it. Just to blockade the pawn e5, then to put the queen on d3, then rook to d1, and well, I will have a good blockading position. Also, I will try to exchange light square bishops, if possible. This will leave black with worse minor pieces, in my opinion. In general, of course. Okay, queen e8 controlling h5 and preventing my queen h5 move, and also maybe trying to occupy h5 when my queen goes away from d1. Well, isn't it a good moment to play a3? Probably not. Black has some tactics. Oh no, black has no tactics, so a3 takes, rook takes a3, d5, cd5. Bishop takes, pawn takes c6, right? Yeah. So let's try it. I have to be careful about my king side, of course, because it is compromised with this f2, g3, h4. This makes my position there not that safe. Okay, rook takes, I think, is possible, because if d5 I take with the pawn, and if bishop takes a3 I then take on c6. And the bishop on a3 is hanging as well as the bishop on d7. So I probably win some material in this case. So maybe it wasn't a good decision in general. Now I see that I don't have real access to a5 pawn, and I just opened up the b file for black pieces mainly, and my b3 pawn will be a weakness. Yeah, so a3 wasn't a good idea. Yeah, it was better to stick to something more solid. Okay, knight there. Where the knight goes? To e6 maybe, then to c5. But now I have something like b4. b4 is very interesting, yeah. So using the pin along the a file and trying to create a passed pawn. Also attacking just a5, so I want to take on a5 with the rook. Now we'll have a passed pawn on the a file. Quite dangerous because it is supported by the bishop. Okay, just exchanging light square bishops. That's very good for me, I guess. I still have a passed pawn. And that goes there. Well, this position is already very good for white. Now I have to find a good solid move, and that is queen to d5, I guess. Just a central move blockading d6. Knight e6 is just a mistake because I just take it. Come on. It is completely winning. Extra minor piece and everything is better. Yeah. Again, I was a bit lucky, of course, but what to do? What to do? Position was already very good. Yeah. So knight e6 was of course a blunder of the minor piece, but after queen d5 I believe that white's position is already much better. So black exchanged a wrong pair of minor pieces. So after exchange of light squared bishops, as you can see, I have a total control over light squares here. Bishop on e7 is just bad. Black no longer has pair of bishops, so actually black has no compensation for this typical Sveshnikov's variation positional drawbacks, like the weakness of the d5 square, the vulnerability of the queen side, and so on. So bishop c6 was probably main mistake, and maybe knight d8 was already not that great because it allowed me to play b4. So in my opinion, it was better to maybe play kind of queen f7 move, trying to play rook to b8 or something like that. So it's necessary to play over b file now after it became opened and there is a object of attack, I mean the pawn b3, right? So that was kind of natural plan. Knight d8 gives me a chance to play b4 and then with the great efficiency b5 creating the passed pawn, so I already have a great initiative. Okay, so that was a mistake. Cool, let's go further. So who to play now? a lot of different challengers. Okay, let's play Alikinin, because it is my enemy number one, of course in a good sense. So let's play. E4. Amigo Alex asks, was d5 an option? It was an option, but after cd5 I think I have two minor pieces against the rook as a result. Alikinin, hello. Okay, man, you have only several seconds to make a move, otherwise I just choose another opponent, please. It's not personal, but, well, there are a lot of other challengers. Okay, c5, come on, let's play. Knight c6, d4. And knight b3. I think we already had this line in our games, so maybe you've prepared something good. Let us just see. This is very quiet setup for white. White doesn't want to attack on the king side, but rather to play in the center. So. Knight to d5 is the main plan. Now let us check if I can do it immediately. I think I can. Why not? Rook here, and what about just bishop to where? To g5. Yeah, looks nice. Let's try. Exerting some pressure on the knight f6. Knight to d7, and now I think I have to play c3 just to protect this whole diagonal h8 a1, to limit the activity of the bishop g7, and then to continue with some pressure. So my task is to improve my position in the center gradually. My knight on d5 is quite good. If black plays e6, this weakens d6. That is actually one of the goals, just to provoke black to play e6 at some point. So that is a pure positional approach for white. I mean the whole line. Okay, knight to c5. And now we can see that king side is a bit weakened, but I can't challenge it immediately because h4 leads to e6 and my h4 is hanging. Okay, so let's start with the f3 first. Just supported my e4 pawn. And now what? Now it is interesting to maneuver my knight to f5, I think. Yeah. And if e6, okay, knight goes to e3. Not against that. So what about knight b5 now, attacking d6 and attacking a7 at the same time? Isn't it a win of material? I'm not sure. But let's check. It looks promising. Now b4 is also great. Or knight a7 with the tempo, right? Yeah, knight a7 with the tempo. And then come back to b5, extra pawn. Yeah, looks fun. Yes, black should have played a6 at some point, of course, to prepare b5 and to avoid this knight b5 idea, especially when he played e6 and weakened this d6 pawn. Okay, now d5 is maybe prepared, maybe not, I don't know, but queen c2 looks just solid. Oh yeah, f5 was the idea as well. So after queen c2, f5 is also prevented. Okay, so bishop to c8, where it goes? Goes to d7 maybe. Now what about just rook to d1? improving position of the rook and preventing bishop d7. So now d6 will be hanging. Yeah, very comfortable position for white. No weaknesses and extra material. Aha, that was the plan. Well, maybe it is not that dangerous. Okay, I'll take first. And now an interesting choice. So I can play f4, of course, just stopping the pawn on f5. But at the same time, this weakens e4. So what is more important, to weaken e4 or to give my opponent a chance to play f4 followed by bishop f5? I'm not that sure. Okay, I'll try f4. I think the activity of the light squared bishop is quite annoying. So it's better to avoid that. If knight goes away, I can also try something like bishop c4 check followed by bishop d5, controlling e4 square that I weakened just right now. So yeah, should be okay. Check. And bishop to d5, very important maneuver. Okay, there are a lot of different interesting plans here, but I don't have a lot of time, so let's start with the a4, just improving my position slightly. Look here, let's say knight to c4, can't be bad. Okay, now let's say knight takes b6. Also looks fine. Knight takes d7. Also looks fine. Bishop takes c6. Absolutely winning position with the extra minor piece. So the only concern is my time. Now I have a lot of extra material. Come on, Allocated. It's time to resign. It's just time. Okay. Nice game, actually, and you saw this calm approach against Dragon is quite interesting because in a psychological sense it is very efficient, because Black, when wants to play Dragon, usually expects some very active and tactical play, but as a result receives this very boring position and has to solve this boring strategic problems, and sometimes it leads to this blunders like here. So I played knight b5 and everything is hanging already. a7, d6, everything is weakened and so on. Once again, I want to say that h6, g5, in my opinion, looks dubious. So it weakens the king's side, and in my opinion, it is not a necessary weakening, and this just gives white a lot of chances, right? Okay, let us continue. I think I have the time for some sort of 2 or 3 games. Who to play? Who to play? Okay. Brutaman. Let's play to Brutaman. And I play with Black. Brutaman, come on. That's your move. I'll wait for several seconds and then choose another challenger. Okay, so just aborted it. Because, sorry man, but there are a lot of other challengers, so I can't just spend a lot of time on waiting. So let's play two Marcuses. Accept. I play with black. How are you feeling today, Mostrovski? I feel not bad, to be honest, but not very good. C4, E6. So kind of normal state of mind. But as I said in the very beginning, I'm a bit tired, of course. This week was quite challenging. B3, let's play C5. Bishop B2. Okay, D5. To be more active here. Oh, that's interesting. Let's try this idea. So just D4. Playing aggressive in the center. D3. That's understood, okay. And just E5. Why not? So in such a situation, I think that the best position for the bishop is on G7, because my plan will be anyway to play F5. It will be nice to have sort of support to F5. So G6 looks sensible in my opinion. Let us develop the pieces. I don't want to give my opponent even a single chance there. So I've just played A5 to prevent any activity connected with the B4. Okay, G4 is kind of very concrete move, limiting my activity. But I still can play F5 if I want. For this purpose I need my knight on D6, I guess. So let's make this maneuver, 98, 96. Knight to F1, knight to D6. Looks fine already. But if I play F5, then G takes F5, G takes F5, E takes F5, let's say knight takes F5, now it goes to the center, to E4. Okay, maybe not that great for me. So I have to prepare this F5 better a bit. It is also an interesting idea just to play B5, maybe to challenge the queen side. But okay, I'll start with the bishop E6. I think it makes sense prior to playing B5. Just the development of the bishop, of the last piece. It has to be developed. And now B5. Looks not bad. The next move will be probably A4. Of course, if white doesn't play A4 himself. I have to be a bit faster, of course, because again, I have some disadvantage in time. So bishop to G5, I guess queen D7 will be sensible. Additionally exerting pressure on G4, so preventing everything connected with the white's H4, just in case. Also controlling F5 square. Okay, now I think A4 is just a must. Just breaking white's queen side. Yeah, I have a good play there. Bishop H6. Well, I guess it won't be that dangerous, so I'll just take on C4. Looks fine. Knight H5 is a threat, Knight F5 as well. So what to do? Just king to... well, king to H8 doesn't work. Queen to F6 down. Huh. Maybe I've blundered this idea, maybe not. Let's see. So f6, knight goes to h5. Let's say king goes to g8, knight takes f6, rook takes f6, queen takes f6. I will have a great compensation. Yeah, so I should try to play this way, I think. Yeah, good pawns. Good pawns in the center. Two connected passed pawns. Attacking my bishop. How can I protect that? Bishop f7 is fine. Knight d8 is also not that bad. Let's try bishop to f7. Yeah, a bit safer possibility. If knight takes f7, I of course take with the knight, right? Okay, now my rook goes back a bit. Let's say d3 should be fine. And now let's say queen to e7. I guess I have to simplify position a bit, because white's pieces look very annoying. Yeah, so I definitely have a compensation for an exchange. I have sacrificed, but I have to be fast and careful. Have to be fast and careful. Okay, let's take it. Play c3 immediately, or just to start with the centralizing the knight? I think centralizing the knight should be good. Rook b8 is a problem. Maybe not a big problem, of course, but still a problem. Okay, let's clarify the things with this knight. And again, I should be fast. Come on, Andre. Play faster, please. Shit, what to do here? Let's play knight g5. Oh god, checkmate! Wow. Wow. I wanted to say something else, but yeah. Great game, Marcus. Great game. Yeah. So I should have played something else. Maybe I missed something. When I played f6. Yeah, that was kind of very promising sacrifice of the exchange, but maybe it wasn't necessary. I don't know. Is there a normal defense? Is there a normal defense? I thought of something like queen d8 here. So let's say knight to h5 check, king goes to g8, but I thought it is just very risky. After knight f6, let's say king here, then something like h4. Yeah, it looked very risky, or even knight takes e5 or something. Yeah, so f6 was okay, but maybe my next play was not good. So I took on d3, played c4, that was okay, definitely. Bishop here, bishop to c2, rook to a6. Well, maybe not the best square for the rook, by the way, maybe a5 was better. But okay, still not bad. So d3, bishop here, takes, f4, f5, takes. Yeah, so here immediately maybe h6, and only after some clarification of the pieces positions to come up with knight e4 or something like that. Yeah, definitely black had chances here. Knight e4, I completely missed this play, so that appeared quite annoying. Yeah, okay. Congratulations, Marcus says. That was a great game. Who else? Let's play somebody new, maybe. Junior chess team. Accept. So probably the last game for today. Junior chess team. Let's play. E6. And queens in the defense. Probably main line, probably not. No, probably it will be gambit. Yeah, and again with Marcus, I was definitely much better after the opening, but well, I've missed this play. And I was forced to sacrifice the exchange. That was all fine, but well, I messed up something. Definitely. Okay. It will be an interesting game to analyze, probably. Once again, this knight h4, so nobody plays that, actually. So cd5 is the main move. I think I can just react with the knight c6, so I have a feeling that I have played that already in the previous Banter Blitz. So just a normal development move, and, well, I have an extra pawn. And that goes to b4 now, attacking the queen and the pawn on d5, and what? Bishop takes d5, right? Bishop takes d5. Yeah, nice resource. Nice resource. But okay. Let's put my knight back to b4, because now if it goes to c6, I will control d4 square. That's the point. Yeah, white definitely has some initiative here. But in my opinion, it is much more dangerous when white has a light square bishop on the board. Okay, what's next? I have to complete my development somehow. Bishop e7 leads to knight f5. So probably it's better for me to start with g6, but then e5 is annoying. Or just bishop e7, knight f5 and castles. But still, it will be a problem with the knight on f6, so e5. Yeah. Not that easy. Maybe knight c7 was better than knight b4, because in that case after e5 you could have played knight to d5 without problems. Now it is a problem because after e5, knight e5, a3. Attacking my knight and knight on d5 is hanging. That's a bit frustrating, you know. g6 or what? Then e5. Yeah, it looks very dangerous, but what can I do? Let's play g6, preventing knight f5 at least, and if e5 I have ugly looking move knight h5, but still I think I'm not that bad. If I manage to complete my development normally and just to coordinate my pieces, I will be a pawn up. That's my plan. Yeah, Marcus is the hero of the day, so maybe junior chess team will be as well. Bishop to e7 should be played now, just with the tempo. Attacking the knight h4. And knight in g2, quite logical. Okay, let's castle after all. Knight to c6, attacking e5. e5 is hitting. And now I think I have a chance to play d6, just undermining this pawn. But then e6 takes on e6, knight d4 with the tempo. Yeah, should be okay, I think. Yeah, let's play d6. If I can get rid of this pawn, everything should be fine. Central position, attacking the rook. Rook goes away, I will have time for further simplification, I think. Something like bishop f8 looks sensible. Yeah, bishop f8. Maybe rook e1 was a bit better, so knight takes e1 is forced, and then queen takes f8. Yeah. That could help me simplify position a bit more. But okay, I'm still not that bad. What about just d5? Improving the pawn structure and preventing knight d5. Yeah, looks fine. Okay. Let us just improve the position. Now rook f6 looks interesting. Okay, knight b5 is not that dangerous, I think. Knight d6 is a threat, right? So I have to prevent that. Let's say this way. Oops. Why the hell I did that? Okay. One on time, but position was already won. Well, the end of the game was quite entertaining, let's call it this way, because I made a lot of blunders actually in a completely winning position. So first of all, here knight h3 was kind of blunder, because I thought if king g2 I have rook f2 check, but then I realized that, come on, my rook is pinned, so it was much better just to take on d5 immediately here, and then to continue with a normal let's say rook a8 to f8, coordinating the pieces, and just continuing with the attack, right? It was the first moment. Then somewhere here it was unnecessary to give the opponent so good chance to activate everything, right? So instead of knight to f6, I could have started probably with something else. I don't know. Any normal move will be fine, just to play maybe just a6 b5 for instance, or rook to f7, preparing rook to f8. If rook goes to e8, okay, I'm not that against, so in this case I just take it, rook takes, then king goes to g7, and f3 square becomes a problem for white. So knight is still on g2, that's what I mean. And only when white plays f4 I can play knight to f6, and okay, knight is not that active if compared to what happened in the game. So that was my mistake. But in fact I had a very good position starting from the opening. I'm not sure that knight h4 is so great. I mean, here, so cd5, just a normal main line, and white has very decent initiative. That's my opinion. So that was a very messy game. So maybe one more, I don't know. Let's play one more after all. Okay, Miktal, my favorite opponent. I mean, we play almost every time when I do this Banter Blitz show. So let's play this time again. Knight to f3. It will be Najdorf, I know. Knight takes d4, a6, well, almost Najdorf, right? Almost Najdorf. Let's occupy the space. Check with the rook wasn't possible because my rook was pinned by opponent's queen. Amigo. Queen was on d5 and, well, my king on g8 and rook on f7. That's why rook f2 wasn't possible. I've blundered that. I also thought that, okay, I would play rook f2, king h1, and only after that I will exchange queens. But in fact, my rook was pinned. So that was the problem. Okay, so here I have kind of Marozzi bind, right? So promising position. A lot of space. Let's castle. There are a lot of ways how to develop the pieces. One of possible ways is to put the bishop here on b2. Controlling this long diagonal. Queen c7, now rook to c1. And that is already a mistake because I have this typical knight d5 thematic move when the rook is on c1 and queen on c7. Oh. Now I win a lot. So it was necessary to take at least with the pawn. But anyway, I already had a serious positional advantage. Okay, so what's next? Let's take it. Yeah, this is already a winning position. Okay, let's convert it. Rook to c8, okay, I'll take it too. Mick, I know why you play this way. It's too late, right? It's too late and very hard to focus on chess. I know that because I feel it too. So let's say rook to c7. Extra rook and a lot of pawns now will be, so yeah, it's time to resign. Okay, that was not a bad version of Friday late night Banter Blitz. Well, I lost the game, and that was actually very painful because I thought I was much better starting from the opening. Then I thought I would have a rich counterplay for the exchange, but well, missed something. But okay, that's fine. So I'm really satisfied when somebody wins a game against me during the show. This means we're here not for nothing. So something changes and people start playing better and better. That's just fine. That is actually why we're making all these shows, right? Thanks a lot for being with me this evening. All premium members are welcome to the episode number 13 of Training Tuesday, next Tuesday, of course. And everybody else, just have a nice weekend and see you next Friday. Bye bye. Take care.